Air.
All right, we're going live.
Woo.
Let me get all this crap up. Nope, that's the wrong thing.
You're really on it with the like waiting room shit lately. I'm impressed.
Well, it's just one of those things that you want to do for, let people know you're here. Gives them a few minutes.
Get in put the pants on and put the lotion away.
So I haven't even told you what this episode's about there, Dylan.
Someone tried to steal BANDREW'S identity.
Yeah.
So you did, but you didn't.
He posted a video earlier today, and it's fascinating how the extent that some people will go to get.
I'm not
stuff.
surprised. I mean, I saw. Have you ever seen a little documentary called Revolta?
No.
It was made by HP actually, and it's on YouTube, and it's about the Quebecer who basically when he was like, I think it was like 16 or 17, like shut down eBay and like Yahoo, and like while he was at school, like made a program and like,
wow.
And what he says in this is, he says, if you have an IP address, you're a target. It doesn't matter who you are. Now, if you're a public figure like Bandrew, obviously you are a larger target.
Yeah, no kidding.
But everyone is a target. Like, I've been targeted by some of this shit. I had a ransomware attack a few years ago that thankfully backups saved me. But like, it's dangerous. The internet is a dangerous, dangerous place.
It's very dangerous, and there's porn on there.
Yeah.
Ken, cheers. Third degree. Holy crap! I actually got a notification. Why am I not swearing? I don't know. Red Cabin's at the gym. That is a weird place to be listening to two guys. But cool. I mean, hopefully you're having fun at the gym, man. With us in your ears, doing reps, that's cool. Diaz wants to know what I think about the MV7X. My personal opinion is get the MV7 instead of the MV7X because the best sound out of the MV7 was the USB.
Somewhat ironically.
I did not like the XLR sound, and I was running through my audio fuse.
Which makes no sense. I mean, I guess...
Well, they have their own preamps on the USB.
I was going to say, so here's how I could rationalize it. I mean... So on the one hand, I mean, it's probably not using a great capsule because if it did, the XLR would sound fine. And with the USB, they can integrate all kinds of tonal characteristics in the code to make up for the shit sound of the capsule. So that's probably what they've done.
Mooster, hey. I don't think I've seen Mooster. I subscribed from the MV7 video. Cool.
Nice.
It's always fun seeing people and seeing where they subscribe from, where they came
where
from.
they jumped on the trolley.
Third degree says I'm driving, so I won't be in chat much, but I'm here. Mooster's using it right now. Cool, Mooster. How is the MV7 treating you? Yeah, the MV7X. That was the one. The one thing I didn't like about the MV7 is the fact that they like kind of compared it. By the way, can you put headphones on? The fact that they kind of compared it to the SM7, I found was insulting to the SM7B. It had no place in the same conversation as the SM7B, despite it, from a legend and all this crap. And if they're going to do that, they might as well make that a fantastic capsule. They did not. It sounds fantastic as a USB mic, but I wasn't overly sold on it as an XLR. Red Cabin's on the treadmill. Nice. I guess our faces are just sitting right up there on his phone while he's running or like crawling. I crawl on the treadmill.
I'm running with him.
Yeah. Nuno, how's it going, man? Wait, I was subscribed on my personal. It's amazing. Love it so much. Yeah, the MV7 is a fantastic mic for USB. And you know what? As much as I crap on the XLR, it doesn't sound.
Yeah,
it's because they used the SM7B to market it. I think that's why I hated it so much.
It was disingenuous. I mean, I don't I love Shure as a company. I really have some brand loyalty to Shure, but if there's one elephant in the room, black sheep of the family in terms of their marketing, it's the MV7.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I don't dislike the mic that much per se. But when you put it in the same league, and it's a pricey mic too, like it's not cheap. The MV7X is like, I got better sound, I thought, out of the AKG Lyra than the MV7X or the MV7 US or XLR. So I mean, and it's a cheaper mic. So I don't know.
I think from a marketing standpoint, I can understand, and I actually think Shure was very smart to release the MV7. My marketing rationale, and probably theirs as well, is the SM7 is something that is like the hallmark of success for everybody. That's in podcasting, that's in VO work to a degree, that's in even in music. So, but the problem is from a price point, it's not attainable.
No.
So they're trying to make a version of it that would appeal to the people that idolize that, the piece of equipment that's a little bit more affordable, albeit,
and
it's not like half the price or anything.
As an XLR mic, it's one of the best sounding on the market, if not the best.
USB mic, you mean?
Ken says the MV7X sounds better than the XLR on the MV7. That's something maybe I should look into. Maybe Shure won't give me anything.
Can I just revisit? You just said that it's one of the best XLR mics on the
market.
No,
no, it's USB.
USB?
USB.
Okay.
USB.
Making sure, because I'm like, what? Did you just drop a bomb?
One of the best sounding USB microphones on the market. And you pay for that, right?
Of course.
But if they did upgrade the capsule for the MV7X, what I heard was that they didn't. They just removed the USB and all of the
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
That it sounds better?
Oh, no. Sorry, I thought you were saying that they used the same capsule in the SM7 as the MV7. That's it.
No, the MV. So we're really getting confused here. They used the same capsule, as far as I knew, for the MV7 as they did the MV7X.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And I don't think they changed it out. I might be wrong. I would really like to look at that. We'll see.
So Ken just prompted. I'm going to put you on the spot there, Aiden. Of all the USB mics that you've looked at, top 5 in order from most favorite to least favorite, or highest quality to lowest quality. Go.
Ooh. Okay, so top, I'm gonna put the AKG Lyra number 1.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just, it was the stereo options on that.
I gotta say that was cool. I watched the video and I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah. The wide stereo is pretty cool. Like, it was really nice. Then the MV7.
Mm-hmm.
The next XLR. What's the Neat mics?
There's also the M1, or not the M1, the
Rode
one. Yeah.
And that's the problem. After those two, they really fall off, and that I'd probably
That's
put
why
the
I
Rode
knew it would be
third.
hard.
The Rode would be third. But yeah, it really falls off from
And
there.
then the last two are just kind of.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter beyond that. Like, and that's the problem with it. The reason Rode is number 3 is because of the software they release with it that makes it sound good.
Oh, I thought you were gonna put that that RGB crane mic as number 1.
No, that if it had software, it might have beaten out the Rode.
Yeah, if it had anything, it might.
Yeah, I did like the bass style. The fact that the bass could be separate and be used as like a control panel, that was
Speaking of
pretty
bass,
cool.
that Lyra design, I have to say, is like a little dumb. I'm not a fan of that. That screw bottom thing. Like,
yeah. Oh, that where I needed to use an actual loonie.
I know.
Like how the hell? Like, you need pocket change.
Like fast forward like 50 years when we don't have any coins anymore because the currency is so inflated. Like, what are you gonna do?
I have no idea. Okay,
you can't fit a screwdriver under there.
ATR 2100, I've used it, but I've never reviewed it, and that's where I was going with that. And also, I was kind of focusing on more of the USB condensers. ATR 2100, I don't believe that's the dynamic. From dynamic standpoints, Q2U would blow away the Rode. I would throw the Q2U on the list. But then you're also dealing with different animals for USB mics, right? Dynamic versus condenser. So, man, that's a really hard question. Like, really, really hard. So let me catch up here. David says, gonna say hi, y'all, and lurk. David, thanks for joining us, brother. Ken says, yeah, Dylan, get your cans on. Yeah, the sound is.
That was a while ago.
I don't know if anyone else can actually hear my voice in your background.
No, they would be able to.
Okay, yeah,
100%.
it's confusing for me. Mooster, if I switch to XLR, I'll probably get the SM7B, to be honest, but I don't think I'll ever go to XLR. Yeah, if you don't need to, if you're just using a microphone for gaming or and you're not doing anything that's going to take specific frequencies, stay USB. You can get some great sounding USB mics out there.
So my issue from my standpoint, and so I'll run into this as an example. So I don't use USB mics only because, well, a number of reasons. One, having one input bothers me.
Yeah.
Having one input bothers me. Number 2, You're at the mercy when you have everything combined in one tiny little box like that. Yes, it means everything's been like custom tailored to work with each other, which is great. Love that. But it means that there's no forward assurance.
Okay.
So
hold on,
for example,
hold on. This is big. We have a dude dude watching this video with the name Fartboy287.
Yep.
That's all I wanted to point out. Continue, Dylan.
Love it. But so, for example, I have this SM7. As long as XLR is a standard for microphones, which it probably will be for a very long time, this will never be a problem unless I physically break it.
Yeah.
If I have a USB mic, it's only useful until the developer stops making drivers for it.
You know what I hate about USB mics, and this is going to turn into a bit of a rant, but the USB connection is on the microphone. The microphone gets moved around a lot. And what happens is that that connection to the mic,
USB connectors are not meant to be robust.
They're generally garbage.
Yeah.
And the problem you run into is as soon as that USB connection breaks, you're done. The whole mic is done.
Well, I mean, so I had an issue with I have a MIDI controller here, just a little 25 key on my desk, and it had a USB connector that wasn't borked, but it was widened to the point where you could jiggle the cable and it would power cycle. So I actually went and there's just 4 solder points. So I just bought a USB connector from DigiKey. And so I imagine if you really wanted to fix
but now you're pulling apart a microphone to solder a USB on, right?
So is it a USB Type B or Type C connector on the MV7?
I see.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better.
Yeah, well, then, and that's the problem. Some of the mics, was the MV7 a mini or the micro?
USB-C?
I'm pretty sure it was USB-C, not micro. No, micro was the last small
micro.
one. Micro is garbage. Micro is garbage. I've got a review on a pair of headphones. They're DJ headphones, and they use micro on them.
Oh,
and
God.
it's 2022. They're
the
Korg.
amount of crap.
They're Korg.
The amount of crap that I have that uses micro USB for charging and it must be because it's the cheapest port.
Oh yeah, there's licensing involved, but still, it's 2022. I don't have anything on micro anymore. I've gotten rid of micro everything.
Even my new gimbal. My new gimbal has 2 micro ports on it. one for charging the gimbal, and then one for the gimbal charging the phone, which is very bothersome because it's so fragile.
So let's catch up here again. Ken, I really want the AKG you reviewed this week, Aiden. Yeah, I didn't even keep it. AKG just lent it to me. I was fine with it. I don't like having a bunch of USB mics around. And actually, I've been going through this lately where I'm lending some mics to friends. I've given a couple to a few friends, but it's just because if I'm not using it, like the Stellar X2, it's no longer part of my comparisons because the Stellar X3 is out. I've got to get that and put that into the comparisons. So I have no use for that microphone, and I got a lot of those building up. And USB microphones, I don't have the room. And that's something we'll talk about with video coming up this weekend or this Monday. I have found out how little room I actually have in this studio. That'll come up in a few, though. Ken says, Bandrew did an MV7X video and compared it to the XLR and the MV7. Even on YouTube, the sound was noticeably improved. I guess in between, they might have put in some stuff that might have given it a little bit of a boost for the XLR. That's awesome if it is. I'll have to get an MV7X and actually try it out before I pass judgment on anyone owning it, you know? Dynamic S, you can use a bread knife. I don't know what that's referencing anymore. This is a problem where
I think maybe to fix a screwed up USB port, maybe
a bread knife.
I have seen people because there's these little retention clips
inside
that if you jiggle, so sometimes you can get like a little skewer or something and just pry it down a little
bit.
Get
me a big old bread knife.
Although I think I don't know if that's what they're talking about because like a bread knife would even fit in a USB.
Just jam that thing in there, just wiggle it around. It's good.
I'm just going through all the things we've been talking about, and I can't think of anything else that a bread knife would apply to. And it barely applies to that.
Maybe just wanted to say you can use a bread knife because sometimes you just can. Fartboy, this is where alerted me. Got a Q2U for a podcast co-host based on your Rex. Really great, Mike. Thanks for the reviews. That Q2U is a bit of a sleeper. For $80 Canadian, I think they're like $50 US. Fantastic microphone.
Who makes it? I don't even know if I've seen a video on it.
So I don't have a video on it. I've used them before. I've never picked one up because it's an XLR USB mic. I never bothered picking one up. They were already well reviewed when I started this channel, but I really like the sound of them. They're not anywhere near an SM58, but they're about as non-offensive as an SM58.
As non-offensive.
Well, but think about that. Like, you listen to a Behringer, you're like, oh, that's a Behringer.
Oh, speaking of which, I saw a side note, a newer mic ad on Amazon, today or yesterday, and in the name of the product, it used the word decent. I'm not kidding. Decent, large diaphragm condenser mic.
This one's not bad at all, guys.
Decent. I have never seen decent used as a marketing term.
Mooster says,
I lost it.
Mooster says, I mean, I stream, but the quality is good enough for what I need, to be honest. And yeah, USB mics are going to be great for...
We always talk about that. If it's good enough for what you want to do, that's all that matters.
That's all you need. If you don't need 2 microphones, don't get a 2i2. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Fart Boy does love him some farting.
Hey, I gotta say, it is satisfying. I have to say, I enjoy it too.
Ken says they make angled screwdrivers too. Looks like a hex wrench. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that.
So I see now the bread knife was
it was all for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sense. That's actually a good call.
Diaz, you can use a bread knife to remove the adapter out of the bottom of the ear. Okay, so this is old-fashioned butter knife. The problem with that was there was only about 1.5 inches clearance between the bottom of the mic where it's mounted and the bottom plate. So a butter knife might work, but you're going to be scratching it up quite a bit.
I'm thinking almost maybe even like a small chisel. Like if you've got a tool bag and you just
chisel.
Yeah, well, like you can have like when you buy chisels, you get like a pack of like wide and then kind of wide and then narrow. So you could probably get like a smaller size or like a nail file.
Oh yeah, it was actually when I was first trying to get it loose, it was really tight when it came from the factory. Like it was tight enough.
I feel like that's pretty common.
Yeah, like I was thinking I could just unscrew it by hand, but I actually needed to get the loonie in there and really give it a good twist to get it off.
I mean, you got to remember that computers are tightening this shit at the factory, not people.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. But the problem is like if you didn't have change and you don't have a chisel, but also any tools like that are going to scratch it.
I bet you back when AKG had a factory in, what is it, Austria? And I bet the original AKG C12 screws weren't that tight because they were probably tightened by people.
You know what? This funny little side story with AKG. They shared my video. Sorry. Lewitt shared my video about the Lewitt's LCT 440. I keep wanting to call it the C440. God. They shared my video about the LCT 440. And in the beginning of that video, I actually make a joke about, what's the moral of the story? Get your guys to sign a non-compete. Because
I got to grab something from the door.
All right. So the point of it was, guys from AKG, leave AKG, start own company, build mic. And at the end of that, I had the joke, you better sign a non-compete clause. And then AKG shared, or Lewitt shared it. And I was like, it's kind of awkward. Maybe I should start thinking about what I'm putting into videos when I put them out, just in case some of these companies want to share them as their marketing. Anyways, Mooster, no need to spend hundreds. Yeah, if you don't have to, don't bother. Beresford, the newer mics were decent 5 years ago, but there are much better cheap options now. I have never sat with a newer mic in front of me. Sorry, I'm just making a confession here. I have never had a Neewer mic in front of me. Ever.
Same.
Never even heard a Neewer. Well, I've heard them before.
I've seen them on videos, but I've never had one in person.
Yeah, I don't. To me, it's kind of. I'll get them if they're sent to me. I'll review them, but to spend money on it and to have them in the back of my studio, because I know you're not going to be able to sell those. You see them all over Facebook Marketplace. Everyone's trying to sell their NW800 or whatever it is. Everyone. And I can't get rid of that. And I also don't want to drop money into a microphone that I can't resell at least. So, yeah.
For me, it even goes more philosophical. I mean, all those are 100%. But then on top of that, like, I don't want to encourage a shitty company.
Right? Red Cabin says design fix, hole in the middle of the base. That's what I thought they would have done. I've seen that, but I think.
Well, could you know what's the base? What kind of metal is the
it's
base
just
made of?
flat aluminum.
Okay, so get a drill bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I had to send it back to them, so.
Oh, maybe not the best idea.
Fixed it for you guys. It's a little off center, but don't worry.
What's this? You send it back to them like that, and then every lira they make suddenly has a hole in it. It's like,
Yep.
thanks, Aiden.
Just a little off to one side. Sean says, I'm off to work today, but I took a nap. Sorry for being late. Sean, sit in the corner. If you're going to be late, you come in here, you disturb all the other students. Jeez.
Yeah, like you were the biggest keener in high school.
No, I was keen to be stoned.
I could say safely, I only played hooky once in high school, and
Really?
it was in grade 12 after the final exam. Like that was how much of a not.
Okay,
like
after the final exam, you didn't.
oh yeah,
wow.
we literally got up. We were in the middle of class and realized the class was pointless. So we like 5 of us got up mid sentence and walked out, went to Wendy's. It was pretty great.
I had a graphic design class. Okay.
Nice.
That I didn't go to once.
I bet you
I
regret
actually-
that now.
No, well, no, it was like silk screening and stuff like that. That was the graphic
Like
design.
old school.
Yeah,
old
it was
school graphic.
okay. This was the '90s when I was in high school, and I didn't go to a single class, and he still passed me
Why?
because it was a 50-50 course. So half of it was graphic design, the other half I think was machine shop, which I loved machine shop. And he passed me, I guess, just to get me so I didn't get half a credit. But it was like I made a job out of not going to school, like a job. I'm getting there. Just wait. I'm starting with Ken. I recently launched a college football live stream with my son and 3 other guys. I use an NT1. My son has a Movo VSM5, very underrated condenser. 2 guys use Blue Yetis and 1 pod mic. Wow, that is a mix. Sean, audio haze referred to Niebuhr as something you use when you want something to sound like trash intentionally.
Yeah, it could
Yeah,
be a great
that's-
creative tool, possibly. I mean,
Yeah, and
the copper tone or copper phone is basically like a intentionally shitty sounding mic.
See, and that's the thing. Like most of my videos, here's an interesting factoid. Most of my best performing videos are negative takes. So ones where I kind of shit on a product, where I'm like, nah, don't like it. This is garbage. And when I want to do a video like that, I can just go buy a Niebuhr mic and go, this is why Niebuhr sucks. And it'll probably get decent views because a lot of people hate watch that stuff. But I still don't want to spend my money on it. That's how bad it is. I can make money on YouTube making that video, but I still have to spend my money on a Niebuhr and support a company. So I'll wait until somebody sends me one before I trash them.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Sitting in the corner. Oh, thank you, Sean. Don't worry. You can come out now, actually. We don't have any dunce caps.
Now you feel bad.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad. Don, if you don't know how to set up better gear, you're wasting your money. You may even sound worse. I can play a super expensive guitar, but I don't sound any better. That is so true. I remember once way back, I sat down at a buddy's house and we were jamming out, and his kid had a guitar that he bought for like $150, a little acoustic. And they're like trying to record a couple pieces and they wanted a little acoustic in the background. So I grabbed that guitar and the guy's like, no, the guitar sucks. And I ripped out a wicked solo on it. And I put the guitar back down and the kid looked at the guitar, looked at his dad, looked at the guitar and was like, okay, I'll play it. But it's true, right? Like you give a great guitarist a shitty guitar, he's still going to sound good.
You give a great skillsman any
Yes.
tool in most cases and they can make it work.
They'll be able to work with it.
Yeah.
Bandrew, I'm late too. That's okay, Bandrew. You were kind of the subject, although we got off subject here. I'm too late too, but I truly have made it. Now I'm being used as clickbait in someone's video. I know, this is amazing. No, you know what? I don't think there's such a thing as clickbait for a live stream. I don't get, like, we still have the same amount of viewers. And to be fair, I wasn't using your name. I actually wanted to discuss this because somebody brought it up in the Discord server. By the way,
I mean, so I think there's a difference between clickbait title and title that talks about something that's topical.
yeah, because you released a video, Bandrew. Hey,
Or like
Ma,
even
I
like when we
made it.
talked about Meatloaf, like some people probably would have thought that the Meatloaf headline was a clickbait.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's topical. Like
Yeah.
it's called being an
You're
entertainer.
just trying to prop up your career on a dead musician, man. No, it's somebody brought it up in Discord, and I was like, I think I saw the tweet a few days back, And then I just completely forgot it existed. And then your video today, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So we'll circle around to that in a few. I really gotta catch up on, like, I'm way behind.
Engagement.
Yeah, I'm way behind in the engagement. Third Degree says trunks, Duns camp on. Oh my goodness. In Ontario, my friends and I never skipped class. They created a system where after missing 5 days, you would call your parents and then risk having to attend Saturday school.
So you do 4 days and then go back for 1 day and then go skip for 4 days.
After a while, though, schools used to get smart with that kind of stuff. We didn't have anything like that, but my son did.
If this was an automated system, but like we're dealing with people here. People learn, people adapt.
Bang says, I hate people that get by on their looks in school. Yeah,
I hate people that get by on their looks in general, although that describes most successful people.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I'm not going to vouch for the pretty people, but, you know. Sean, but they didn't call you until you had missed 3 days, so then we started skipping twice a semester because they were pretty much free days off. It's true. Yeah. Bandrew, I expect more office references in future videos. Nice. I hate negative takes. It sucks watching review video that you know the reviewer hates it, and it seems mean when they are just trying to lower market. And you know what? But that's the problem. Like, reviewers have to do negative takes. If a reviewer doesn't like a product,
it's one of the reasons why I don't think, like, I have discriminating tastes in technology. So it's one of the reasons why when I initiate a YouTube channel, reviews will not be a part of it. Which I know I'm kneecapping myself for views on that, but at the same time, I don't want to put myself in a position where I have to lie about a product.
But you don't lie. And like, if I get a product that I don't like,
there's one customer that you were selling a mic for that they sent to you that we both had to kind of BS ourselves.
Well, and that's where contract problems come into play, right?
Yeah.
But there's always going to be when it comes time for you to like fully dislike something, like when I get the 1800S, I can just go, here's mic A, here's mic B. What do you guys think? And walk away. But that also doesn't tell a lot of people who might be buying an 1800S what they're listening for. There have been people that have actually flat out said, I don't hear a difference between the 1800S and the SM58.
I think like sound ears are like taste. Everyone's got a different taste. Everyone's got different ears.
But you develop that over time also. Yep. So that's when you need the reviewer to say, yeah, I wouldn't buy this. I wouldn't spend your money on it. I wouldn't spend my most hated enemy's money on it. And that is important when you're dealing with reviews. And I don't make negative reviews just to get clicks. If I get a great...
I think looking at a YouTuber, like, and I mean, Bandrew's done this as well, so I have to give Bandrew credit for it. But like, think about like Julian Krause. Julian Krause has a way of delivering critical information in a way that is not like negative per se. It's just factually like,
but he'll say, I don't like that. That's bad. Like he'll say,
but then he'll back it up with a lot of empirical evidence.
Yes,
which absolutely. I think is the difference, because there's like, in order to separate opinion from something that's a little bit more balanced, you need that empirical evidence. A lot of people just say, this sucks, I hate it.
But that's also part of a review process is your opinion, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, of course. And as an entertainer, you need to have an opinion.
But also on top of that, I might not like it on my voice, but maybe it'll sound good on your voice.
Go on Gear Sluts and look at the amount of unsubstantiated opinions that exist on that.
But it's also like, it's not law. When I give my opinion, it's not like,
it's not
dare
the law
you
of the land.
buy the 1800S, you
No, it's like, I don't like it. And I've said that before about, like, we've talked about different mics, like King Bee and this and that. I'm like, hey, I wouldn't buy it. But if you want to buy it, I'm not going to judge you for it. You get what you want to get.
Bandrew, don't worry. Brandon made it earlier. Ouch. No, I am Bandrew. Here we go. I was being facetious. I know, Bandrew. We know. Don't worry. No feelings ever hurt behind the mic. Trust me. You should see some of the shit said about me behind the mic. Mooster, gonna head out now. Thanks. Yeah, bye, Mooster. Although you're probably gone by now. I'm successful and I look like hammered cow crap. That's Ken. Right?
Well, I have hope.
Maybe Ken is pretty, just Ken doesn't see it. Who knows?
I have hope.
Sean saying, I'm saying it, I wouldn't hate watch. Yeah, and there's a really weird thing on YouTube of hate watching. Like, when I put out the Behringer video was basically, why do people hate Behringer? and then putting up specific examples of why people don't like Behringer. Not me. I'm not sitting there screaming into the camera about Behringer sucks.
Yeah, we're talking about like the mass populace.
Yeah,
here.
this
like,
is why Behringer is kind of looked down upon. And people would get mad and people will hate watch it and then leave a bad comment on it just because. I'm pretty sure they watch like 60 seconds of.
The stupid thing is these people that are hate watching, they're still giving you money essentially.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, they're giving me engagement. They're giving me money. Cool. Thanks, man. Dislike the video all you like. I don't care. But then at the same time, it's, that's how I'm trying to use that negative reaction. Instead of like, I hate this. It's, why
it's like,
does this suck?
Look at that M Audio package video is another like example of critical take on an arguably shit product. And then you got absolutely trashed over that.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, something intended to be a good product, premium price, you have to take them down and help the community. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so a great example, Audio Technica 2040, their dynamic microphone they released, that $100 dynamic mic. I didn't like it. It was a money grab. It's a broadcast mic. No, it's not. And it's stuff like that.
We're opening that whole can of worms again.
But that's the thing, right? Like, you can't just like throw a bunch of crap around a capsule and go, "Hey, $100."
Us talking about the term broadcast mic is like watching Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about water towers.
Yeah, fair.
It's
okay.
like, don't get me started.
Sometimes crap companies have decent products. You are correct. Like, I'll say the 8500, the XM 8500 is a decent mic. It's not for the price especially. And that's also the other thing you weigh with negative reviews. Price to performance difference, right? So
the value proposition, I think, with the 8500 is there. The 1800S, I don't find it's there.
Yeah.
There. Phrase it like that and I'm fine.
Andrew, when people say I can't hear the difference between the XM 8500 and the SM7B, my response is you just saved yourself $380. Yeah, and that's a big deal. Like, the amount of people buying microphones that are doing frequency critical work, especially these days, the amount of people that are buying microphones to do something that requires a $500 microphone is so small. Like, people are not buying SM7Bs to cut albums. They're doing it to do a podcast that's being ripped out at 96 kilohertz.
SM7B, yeah, people do use that in the music industry all the time. Michael
But
Jackson's
no, that's
Thriller was
what I'm
cut on an
saying though
SM7.
is most people aren't buying it for that these days. Most people are buying it to do a podcast. And yes, it is. Like, this is a fantastic microphone for music.
I think the SM7 does definitely reserve a place in the music business, but these days, as far as the revenue share, for sure, it's podcasters mainly.
So if you're doing a podcast and you can get by with an XM8500, why are you buying an SM7B? That's why, like, an SM58 is the perfect microphone for a podcast.
People like cymbals. It's like, these people that will buy an U87 AI without ever having heard it just because it's cool and expensive and it looks like an 87.
It does look pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a symbolic thing.
I make it on my looks. Sean, good for you, you beautiful bastard. Ken, I feel pretty, oh so pretty. Ken, you are a beautiful spirit. I've never seen you. I have no idea what you look like, but you're beautiful. Sean, yes, I think I could verify my individual views. I tend to watch your videos to the end. That's not true on those that do a hate review. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm pretty sure a lot of the hate reviews are very, very small. They wait to see the first thing that pisses them off. They write a comment and they're out.
And such negative people.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Neil deGrasse Tyson doing a cover of "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls." I would actually watch that. I would actually, I'd totally watch that. Ken Bandrew, I had a hard time hearing some differences between mics, but as I've learned what to listen for, the cheap mics versus quality mics like the SM7B sound like I look hammered crap.
One thing that's really a good, like, and it's one thing I think, Aiden, you should do a video on ear training. I think ear training is a very under-discussed skill as an audio engineer or a voiceover person. Like, everyone in this business should exercise their ears and flex those skills. So, like, as a mixing engineer, for example, like, one thing that I was put through for years was, okay, I'm going to bump a bell curve bump on an EQ, 1 decibel, and some part of the frequency spectrum, and you have to tell me plus or minus 500 hertz where that bump was, plus or minus, and I'd have to tell whether it was boosted or ducked, and so that's hard.
Will I be able to hear it happen live? Will I be able to hear the boost live while it's playing?
Well, they would like play one version, and sometimes sometimes it would be program material, i.e., like music or a podcast. Sometimes they would really fuck with you and use white noise and boost the white noise. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, that's tough. You know what? And that's the thing, right? But here's the other. That sounds like a lot of fun, but I'm almost going to venture that a good portion of the people that watch my channel don't need to. So
there's gradients, all right? So what I just described as an exercise is very severe. Like that's kind of crazy. But that said, you should know, for example, what constitutes high mid versus low mid.
Yeah, and I think that's
being able to divide up, and it's, I will say, as a voiceover person specifically, not as a producer, also as a producer, but as a voicer, it is really, really nice to be able to listen to a voice, your own voice, and compartmentalize it and then sort of figure out dissecting it. And there's really no way to do that without some form of ear training.
Doing it on your own voice is hard too, because you have such a different, so the way you hear your voice coming out, even when you've got headphones on into a microphone, is still being colored by your own skull. Like everything's coloring even when you got headphones on. So when you just hear it on a computer.
Fun fact, I was talking to a friend of mine actually today who's studying audiology, and they were explaining to me, because I asked them, I said, okay, so you're studying this. I know how our ears differentiate what comes from the left or right. If it's a low frequency thing, it's intraoral time differences. If it's a higher frequency, it's intraoral intensity difference. But I was like, how do we know when a sound is coming from up or down? Like, I can close my eyes, and if a sound's coming from up here, I know that it's coming. Like, how is that possible? We have 2 ears, not 4. And they said, funnily enough, so these little pockets in our ears, it's basically an acoustic labyrinth. So what that does is it basically causes two different versions of the signal to go into your ear canal, different phases. And your brain will actually decode those different phased of pressure signals into, okay, well, if it's coming from here, that means the phase relationship of that ear will sound like this, and then your brain it's fucking fascinating. Like, my mind was blown.
And how the brain deciphers all that is fascinating. Okay, so like, dude, these comments are just fast and furious.
I'm just gonna shut up. Let's rip through these.
There's gonna come a point where we're not gonna be able to keep up with the comments.
We're gonna become like us Linus basically, and we're gonna have to rely on like super chats.
No, I don't want to. I really don't want to.
But at some point, if you keep growing on this trajectory, it will get there.
I don't want it to happen where it becomes unless
you start unless you start having like upvoting, for example. So you have like a moderator that sits on the side, and they basically will.
And that's what I've considered bringing in a mod just to be able to, like, on days like we only have 17 viewers right now. No, we're
manageable.
18. We're at 18. Very manageable. We just got to take a break, catch up on the comments.
Stop going on tangents. My fault.
Well, no, that's part of the live experience as well. But it's also like, if it got any worse, we would have to like skip over a portion of them and just
which would be unfortunate.
Yeah, because this is the whole part. This is the reason I like doing the live stream, for crying out loud, is this, right?
Yeah, we get to connect with everybody, which is really cool.
So Bangs, SM7B is meant for looks and podcasting. That's its value proposition. That is a sad statement, but it's true. Fine Mike beyond that, also true. Sean, I bought my SM7B because I could afford it, and I didn't want to spend more money on later if I had the opportunity to move up the food chain. And that's also somebody with a broadcast background. If I recall, Sean had a bit of a broadcast background. So you understand what you're getting. You understand what... and I find like somebody just going out like, well, what mic should I buy? Just get an SM7B, man. There's so much about your choices that shouldn't just be like, just get a... Right? Like, it's...
it's a consultative process. It's like, okay, what are you doing? What do you need it for? Like, where are you? There's so many variables that will affect the outcome of that question.
Yeah. Sean, Bangs Naughty Bits. I'm ugly on the inside. Nice. I refuse to be ear trained because when I learned proper TV setup, I can never unsee it now. proper TV setup.
That's right. I remember Sean was mentioning that it was in the. You said broadcast. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember.
No, that was Bangs. That was
Sean.
Bangs.
I thought Sean also did TV stuff.
I believe Sean did do TV stuff. Ken, wow, I made Aiden laugh. My life is now complete. Aww. Sean, at work, I was telling a colleague the other day that some of these channels go on directions that really aren't my space. I'm not musically trained, and I would never think of myself as an engineer. Well, I know we're going in, like I'm bringing more music towards the channel, but it's not going directly in that direction. It's definitely going to be staying the same. Ken, the NT1 looks decent on camera until you put a clown nose on it. Then it resembles something phallic. That's true. That thing is straight up and down, man. I much prefer the SM7B, the NT2A over the NT1. Looks wise. Putting them side by
and
side.
Sound wise.
Yeah, I guess sound wise too. Definitely more utility with the NT2A.
100%.
Sean, as a TV guide, I know people will listen to good audio if the video is lower quality, Dylan's camera feed, but won't watch good video with really poor audio. And that is the truth. Audio is more important than video, 110%. I refuse to watch a video. There was one song, Bomb Hands by Social Code. So if anyone ever heard Bomb Hands by Social Code, I'll put that out to the viewers. It was a band out of Alberta, Canada. They actually made it really big, Canada-wise. They were on Hockey Night in Canada. They launched the Hockey Night in Canada with Bomb Hands. And I remember finding that song on YouTube, but you can only get it with a really shitty rip of audio. Refuse to listen to the song. Like, just absolutely refuse. It's not worth it, especially when the video is like high quality and the audio is like 8-bit. That's gross. Bandrew, our brains are the goodest brains. Wow. Yeah. Our brains are
That's
the
a
goodest.
Statement.
Yeah, sometimes you are just talking amongst yourselves, but it's an interesting perspective when going at this. Oh, TechMed. Cheers, brother. Thanks for that. TechMed actually just sent money without any statement on it, but TechMed Rainer is the one. Cheers, brother. Appreciate it.
We are very appreciative.
Liberty Dude's in town. Hey, buddy.
LD.
Let's go, Brandon. I love that. Yeah, that's the Bandrew conversation. If I can't get to does anyone care if I can't get to the comments? I'm curious about that. Because that's been part of, like, since we started doing the live stream, that's been part of this, is making sure that engagement happens.
I wish there was a way where people could reply to comments so that we know, like, if I don't know, if Ken's talking to Bangs, we know we don't have to engage with that comment. Because a lot of these comments are people talking amongst themselves.
Well,
and to us, it's just, they're all comments, so we just go through them all.
That's why giving somebody the moderator position would work, right? Because that could really highlight things that are coming through. Mm-hmm. Let me just Bandrew. Yeah, see, everyone's talking amongst themselves. Anyways, Bandrew's story. So Bandrew had somebody contact a major, what I'm considering was a major company, asking for free product with really, really horrible grammar in English. And I've never seen Bandrew's writing ability, like his grammar or anything like that. He seems pretty well put together. But I'm pretty sure Bandrew wouldn't write an email like this. It basically came out and said, hi, me Brandon, give me free product, basically. I'm paraphrasing. Don't jump on me. That's a paraphrase. And then the company basically came back to Bandrew and said, hey, pretty sure this isn't you. You use punctuation. Wow. But it's an interesting conversation around what kind of position that puts the creator in. As Bandrew, if let's say the company bites and says, oh yeah, here you go, here it is, and then nothing happens from it. Like, there is a certain contractual obligation when you get a product that you're going to
do something with it.
Yeah. Like, we're not LTT where we can just get stuff sent to us and just.
I was
going to
say, like, they don't even prompt; they just get shit. Like,
but that's an interesting conversation to be had about how that impacts everyone, like even the people watching the videos. Because if your favorite creator, if Bandrew loses credibility with gear companies, I'm pretty sure Bandrew could still buy quite a bit of product with the money he makes on YouTube, but does he want to? Of course not. Like this,
No.
you need that. You need that relationship. So, is this the biggest dirtbag move you can make? And also, what the hell is that phone? All right, cool. Is this the biggest dirtbag move you can make? And do you think it could be successful, Dylan?
Dirtbag move. You mean stealing someone's identity in exchange for free shit?
Well,
no.
Trying to.
In this world where there are so many safeguards. For example, you remember back in like the early 2010s when you could spoof an email address?
Oh,
where
yeah.
you could like, I could write an email in Outlook and I could set the reply to address as your address, like your Gmail address.
I remember
and
that.
I could totally send it an email and it would look like it's from you. So that's over. Servers have gotten smart, and now servers will not accept an email unless it has that token attached to it from the original sending MX. Like if you send something from a Gmail server, it actually has to come from that Gmail server. I think the industry is getting smarter, and they're realizing, like even stuff like ransomware. Like, I mean, 10 years ago, Windows didn't have integrated ransomware protection. Now it does.
Yeah.
So I think there was a time not so long ago when that would have been a successful business practice, in the same way that Ponzi schemes were also a successful business practice.
But the city of Ottawa even got busted. I think they paid like a $400,000 bill that was non-existent because just somebody was there and like, oh crap, we owe this money. Here, give it to them. So it's still plausible that it can happen.
Yeah. Well, see, the only thing that can't really get smarter, I mean, it can to a degree, is social engineering.
Yeah.
And in the sense that people will prey on the weaknesses of the human condition in order to get shit. And we see that with elderly people that get targeted with, I want to fix your computer. No, you don't. But again, these are not things that you can have technological fail-safes for. These are things that only education and like evolution will be able to fix. Like how many people have fallen for those, those Nigerian 401 email scams, right?
I would be really curious, but nobody seems to want to talk about it after they fall for it,
No, and I don't blame them. Like I would feel that way, but I don't think there's any shame in it. I mean,
no.
When I was a kid, I fell for a travel scam where a company said, hey, we got a vacation. And strangely enough, found out that I was scammed after, gave them $500, and they actually sent the $500 back.
Really? Well, they felt that bad, eh?
And as soon as they sent it back, I canceled the card, got a new card. I'm like, nope, we're not playing this game again. But
wow.
So I think really social engineering, that's the part that both impresses me and scares me. And it's the only thing that would make something like this feasible.
Interesting. I'm not like, to me, I've actually had a few phishing emails from companies like, would you like to try our product? It's like, okay, first of all, go get a grammar lesson and get back to me. Like, if you're going to like try to dupe me, at least, Oh
my God. That makes me so mad. The amount of emails on the weekly that I get on my business, like my publicized email account, that is saying that my Office 365 license is about to expire, and they don't even know how to spell Office.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it insults my intelligence. It's like, who does this work on?
Well,
I really want to know.
The funny thing is they actually do that for a reason, eh? They misspell stuff because they're not going for the smart people. They're going for the people that
they didn't even get them. They didn't even get Microsoft's 4 colors right. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand.
Awesome. Wait, Microsoft has
like
dark
they had, like,
forest green in it
they
now?
had orange, purple, lime green, and sky blue. Those were the 4 colors on this email.
Close.
I remember it like clockwork. It was like, who is making these? I don't understand.
Oh wow. Okay, so we've got some drama happening here. Sean says, Bandrew, I admit to skipping your instrument portions in your reviews. That is harsh. That's some of the most creative stuff in his videos, I gotta say.
I like Bandrew's instrumentals.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Liberty, hello, I'm Alan from Dark Horse Studios. Can you send me free stuff to review? And yeah, that's the interesting part of it, like what you were saying, right? Like, obviously. Ask people at Dark... Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. If you have a question for me, tag me. That's a good one. Or a question for us, tag us at Dark Corner Studios. Thank you, Liberty Dude. You're so smart. Liberty Dude isn't driving to Ottawa. Okay. You feel free. Come on down. We've got a trucker rally in town right now that's been making the news.
Might want to stay the hell
Yeah,
away.
maybe stay away from there. Ken just ripping apart at Bandrew. Just stop being so damn humble and shave that shit. It's like I'm watching a serial killer. Wait, it's like I'm watching a serial killer with a penchant for mics every week. Ken, dude.
Savage.
Dude.
Well, I mean, so now I'm kind of curious because full disclosure, I haven't actually watched a Bandrew video in a little while, and it's not because I just don't watch videos much these days because I just don't have the time. But I'm kind of curious now, so I want to go see just how Hasidic it has become.
Oh yeah, it's Bandrew.
I'm curious now because the last time I saw Bandrew was just very light stubble.
It's no, it's coming in. It's coming in. The mustache,
nice.
More. I don't judge anyone's facial hair.
Yeah, I don't judge it. It's a character thing. It's everyone's different personality. It's
well, I have even a unique thing where my goatee doesn't grow in the middle. I have two forks on either side that grow, and in the middle it grows to a specific short length and then just stops.
I kind of have the same thing. Like if I have a mustache, this little patch right here will not grow in. So I got these these two like stereo mustaches growing out of my face, and the middle is just clean. And I thought it was my trimmer, which is why I went clean and I'm growing the goatee back because I got a new trimmer that doesn't suck.
Just nickname you Stereo. Okay, so Bandrew is pretty good on the wordsmithing. Yeah, Bandrew out of work, but got called back in, so had to step away. Aw, that's sad. Bandrew makes his money on watches. The rest is gravy. Yeah, no kidding. I haven't actually watched any of the watch castage. Is it what? I haven't gotten around to it. I don't have a watch thing. I don't want to get into watches either. My money goes everywhere. I don't want to be like spending all of my money on watches as well.
I know the feeling. Plus, I'm a hipster with a Fitbit, so I can't. I got one watch. That's all I need.
All right, I did see one bangs at Dark Corner Studios. I got one of those. You have a virus on your computer phone calls. Oh yeah, I've gotten a couple of those.
Yes, because they tell you on the phone that you have that. Like the stupidity of these.
Well, and then they try
this.
There's a channel of a guy who gets them.
There's a couple. I love watching those videos. It's my favorite.
It gets emotionally exhausting after a while.
It does though. I can only handle like one or two of them at a time. But I love watching listening to when they actually call the scammer by their actual legal name, and the scammer's like, no, my name is Alex. No, it's fucking not. I'm like,
it's hard to watch after a while. But I've always wanted to. I just the time invested in that stuff.
There's one UK guy whose name it's at the top of my head, but he actually will sneak into like legit scams in progress and screw them up. Like
really,
they'll be like, he's a British guy. I forget his name. If you look up like scam fail videos on YouTube, this guy will come up. But what he does, he actually will infiltrate a scam call in progress, and he will fuck up the scammer. Like he'll go on the scammer's machine while they're distracted and like delete all their files and shit.
I love that. That's kind of stuff. But once again, one or two of them and then I'm kind of emotionally done.
I know. I'm just like, okay, I can't do it. I can't. The amount of like steaming hate that I have for these people, I need to take a break because I'm gonna like explode.
Bandrew says they probably misspelled to avoid spam filters. That's interesting. I never thought of that.
That's interesting. Spam filters I've been curious about them because it's like, okay, well, if I get an email like that from Microsoft, obviously it's not misspelled and it doesn't get caught, but maybe that's contingent on it being from Microsoft. I don't know.
Yeah. Sean says, I'm not saying he plays poorly. What he's demonstrating on guitar is just lost on me since I'm not trained as an engineer or a musician. And you know what? And that's an interesting point. And I asked the question I put out a post earlier this week. Does anyone care about specs on products? Like the way I put up the specs on the screen, I've been getting you watch the engagement path on my videos. As soon as I get into specs, it shoots down. And I'm like, are people just skipping over specs because they don't care? They only care about what it sounds like.
I mean, like I can only speak for myself anecdotally, but when it comes to specs, I just look up the product. Like I don't I don't necessarily watch a video to get specs because that stuff is everywhere.
I would still showcase them, but I can like if that stuff's dropping off, I could put the specs in when I'm doing the side by side on microphones.
Yeah, or put the specs like on the side of a portion of the video where you're talking about your opinion or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like just put them up, and I'm waiting to see. I might actually play with that to see what it does, but I also don't want, because I know there's some hardcores that are like, no, give me every number you have.
But like, so I'd be interested to get, or if Linus would ever talk about that, because they go hard into their benchmarking and shit and their videos, and I'd be interested to see if they have some similar retention rates.
Benchmarking for me, like I can't watch benchmark videos. If they just put up the graphs,
I skip through that shit.
Yeah, here's your graphs. Okay, just tell me.
Yeah, just tell me how to do. Which did better?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see the numbers. I don't really care.
Midnight Wolf looks like I'm late. How's it going, buddy? I'm still scanning through. I'm literally like so far behind. It's not even funny.
I'm trying to follow along with you, so we're both.
I don't shave because it drives people insane, Bandrew. That's funny. I don't, you know what? I don't like, to me, I'm usually unshaven when I do my videos. That's why I'll never throw shade on anyone for their facial hair or anything like that. I hate shaving. So I just never do. So yeah, I don't like, it looks good on you, Bandrew. You keep it up, buddy. You're beautiful the way you are, Bandrew. Spite is a great motivator. It's so true. I always listen for sensitivity and self-noise. Yeah, and that's the interesting one. Like sensitivity and self-noise are two of the ones that actually really, really matter.
Yeah.
And just kind of throwing them up on the side feels weird. I don't know. Maybe I'll look at making that as compact as possible, so I'm not like taking a minute and a half to go through the specs of a product. I would like to see more mics on bass amps because I'm practicing bass more. I actually do have it in the works. My guitar's on the way, actually. I just got a call from my distributor there. He said my guitar's on the way. The Schecter's coming. And the next one is going to be a bass and a bass amp that I'm going to be able to, because I told you about this last week. Do you remember, Dylan, what I said my plan was going to be?
Vaguely.
Remember one mic?
And that's my way of saying no.
One mic?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I got a plan for a new style of video that I'm going to be doing just to dick around and have a little bit of fun. They're going to be really intensive videos, though. So I'm going to see what I can do. But yeah, the bass has got to be a part of that. And also, miking a bass amp is something people mic. So being able to test it on a bass amp might actually be
honestly,
a smart move.
More often than not, in a studio situation, basses are generally DI.
Are they?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, you can do either, because I mean, if you have a great sounding bass amp, but I've seen all of it. I've seen DI right into an interface or right into a console, or DI from a bass amp, so using the bass amp's direct out on itself, or miking the amp. But miking a bass amp is something that, I mean, there's a handful of mics that are good at. I mean, the AKG D12 is pretty unanimous with miking bass amps. SM7 also phenomenal at miking bass amps.
Interesting. And I rely on my experience in the studio, which was my studio albums, and we mic'd a bass amp for it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those like drawing on experiences, but I guess having a bass just to run DI, but then I want to be able to do like, yeah, we'll talk about that.
It also depends on the bassist. Some people are very particular. I know Flea is very particular on, that they have to mic his fridge Ampeg.
Sean brings up a good point. Bandrew Scott tells you where it's manufactured. And it's interesting because like, I try not to base how I do my videos based on anyone else. Like, I notice the dips and I try to address where those dips are happening.
You've dabbled in that sometimes, and you got slapped for it once.
What was that?
Remember the Julian Krause comment?
Oh God, yeah.
Not from Julian, but about referencing Julian Krause.
Yeah. I address the dips. Like, I don't have an intro on my video anymore because that would kill retention out the gate. Any kind of intro would destroy the retention on the video. So I got rid of the intro, and I don't care because I don't need an intro. I'm not that arrogant to think sit through fucking 7 seconds if you want to watch my video. I was going to say,
at least your intro is smaller. I mean, LTT's has gotten a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, LTT can. People are going to sit through that.
And it has become, I always say that, like, You do whatever you want so long as it's part of the brand.
Yep.
I mean, if your brand is having this luscious, well-made intro that's like twice the length of other YouTubers, and your audience is into that because they're loyal, do it.
But that's also like the brand. Like you can look at Bandrew, the way Bandrew runs his videos. Then you look at the way Julian does. Julian has graphs. Julian has numbers all over the freaking page. But the people that go to Julian's
They're looking for that
video are looking for that. And
Yep.
people that come to mine might not be.
Well,
and
clearly.
that's okay. But
Clearly not.
But that's perfectly fine. Whatever you're coming to my video for, as long as you're getting some sort of satisfaction from the video and moving on,
Yeah.
I'll be happy. And so it's tailoring it to that. So that's why I ask, should I maybe race through them a little bit more? Because I don't need to dwell on the specs. Like, oh my God, the sensitivity on this microphone is... No, I don't need to. I can just boil it down to probably a 10-second bit and get out. But I'll look at that. That'll be a work in progress. Bangs Naughty Bits. I don't watch often. I mostly listen. Cool. That's a fascinating one. I know a lot of people that do that. Also, I thought about this. There's a YouTube channel. I know there's a few people on our list that actually speed up the videos, which, by the way, you kill retention when you do that. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not going to get angry. Gonna rage.
Like you mean viewers speed up the video?
Yeah, they'll speed up the video and they'll watch it at 200%.
I've only ever done that for like classes, for like online classes to rip through the
I'm a
material.
slow talker, so I know a lot of people speed me up just to keep me going fast and so they can kind of listen and not spend 10 minutes watching a friggin' video.
Does YouTube penalize you for that as a content creator?
No. Your watch time is, if they speed it up 200%, it'll hit 50.
Yeah, the watch time, that makes sense.
Yeah. So there was this one creator that released a video that was sped up 400%, it's sped up 200%, and it actually says at the beginning to watch it at 50% speed. And it was still relatively fast, but he got double retention for that. So everybody that watched the video watched it for double the time the video was posted for. 200%.
So what we've learned is if you're going to play around with the speed, if at all, slow it down.
Slow me down. Oh, you can watch specs for 10 friggin' minutes then. So the EIN on. Oh God.
This is great. This is a short right here.
As a microphone user, I like to hear them both. Voice and instrument specs are useful. Off-axis rejection, kind of why. Off-axis rejection is actually really important for a lot of microphones because the frequencies microphones pick up at different areas. So if you're miking something like a voice, it's picking up reflections coming in from the back end of the microphone. Now, if you have a off-axis rejection that's really colored, so like let's say your off-axis rejection at 45 degrees is picking up only 2,000 to 5,000 on the frequency range, that's going to really color everything. It's going to, so learning what the off-axis rejection of a microphone is, you go around it.
And honestly, that's one thing that pretty reliably that you get with more expensive microphones is more neutral off-axis rejection. Yep. Shitty mics versus expensive mics is one of the reasons why people are like, hello, Ms. Ravioli. Everybody always will compare oh, you can make the 1800S sound exactly like, the U89. It's like, maybe on axis, flip them backwards and see what happens.
Liberty Dude actually points out, so this is a good one. Only unusual specs or spec features that make an impact that would require pre-knowledge, self-noise, etc. Here's a good example of something like that. What if I put the specs up and then just highlighted a couple? Here are the specs for it. Ones to watch out for is self-noise at this at this, and then move on. That actually might be an idea going forward. I'll actually consider that. I do, because I don't want people getting bored of shit. I want people to enjoy the videos.
Before you get into specs, can you not put an annotation that skips and be like, hey, if you don't want to see specs, click here, and then they can just skip to basically the point after the specs?
No, I would rather do it in a way and this is the thing, I would rather be entertaining than dry. So if there's a way I can do it where I can, Super Cardioid Man was a great way.
Yeah.
If I was doing a Super Cardioid mic, people would watch for Super Cardioid. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. If I can find ways to do that to retain viewers, I would rather do that than make people skip. If people want to skip, I'll put chapters in and they can just select the chapter they want. which is fine. But here's the thing. Why not make it something people want to watch rather than make something because I want to do it and I know it's best because I'm the, you know.
But I mean, like talking about specs is you've got, obviously, as we've determined from the comments here, you've got a split audience. You've got some people that hate specs and you've got some people that actually are curious. And I think specs are important because everything other than specs is opinion.
Yes. No,
everything.
But you look at a microphone, your specs that are important. So the fact that it's a dynamic is probably already been talked about. The fact that it has a specific polar pattern, already probably talked about.
Yeah.
So you're really looking at self-noise and the sensitivity are the two main ones. When you're looking at an interface, your EIN, your self-noise.
I think also this isn't a huge factor, but for VO can be a consideration is max SPL.
Oh, max SPL, yeah. I would say, well, not just VO, but for instrumentation.
Oh, especially,
max SPL.
but you know, most of the audience here are like VO and podcasters, and like I have found it with some mics. Like for example, the U87 has a really low max SPL, so like I can't do yelling VO lines through the U87. No. The SM7, on the other hand, this thing can take a fucking beating.
Yeah.
So I can belt straight into it like I can be a construction worker VO, and it sounds great through the SM7.
All right, I'm getting behind here, so I'm gonna have to skip over and do I'm gonna actually have to just skip and do the ones that actually tag me. So yeah, we're gonna do that from here on out, guys. If you want to ask a question directly, and I might pin a comment that says that in the next live stream, is if you guys want to talk to me or Dylan directly, to actually tag us, and we'll make sure when it gets going like this. Ms. Ravioli, how you doing? I missed that one too. See, that's how far behind I am.
See, I fielded that. So
it's Bangs Naughty Bits actually has a good point. Have Mrs. Dark Corner Studios read the specs.
That's not bad. Switch it up a little bit. It's not a bad idea.
I'm starting to wonder whether or not I'm using sex appeal.
I was going to say, I don't think Mrs. Dark Corner Studios would be into that idea.
Oh, she would hate it. She would despise it.
I can't blame her because I'd hate it too.
Yeah, she hates coming on camera for doing mics. She hates everything about the YouTube experience, but she does it because she loves me. So I guess
what's the big grievance with the YouTube experience?
She just doesn't care. Just doesn't care. So she's doing a PhD, for fuck's sakes. Here I am like, this microphone is really cool. And she's actually discussing stuff that matters to her. I don't demean what I'm doing because I'm really passionate.
I was going to say, I think microphones are literally intrinsic to how we communicate. So I think that talking about microphones is essential, and talking about
I'll let you make that argument.
It is like, what happens if we can't communicate as a society? Society falls apart.
Right. I'll have you communicate that argument with her.
I remember in college, you know, we had a professor that you know exactly who I'm talking about, who often would draw the comparison of, you know, we're not open heart surgeons here.
Yeah.
Which was a, you know, very nice kind of warming statement. Oh yeah, you know, my son's hockey game. Oh yeah.
Actually, I'm going back to teach the podcasting course, by the way.
Nice. Again?
Yeah. Going back again.
Congrats. But like, so, I don't think anybody should ever get into and I think it's a really toxic mentality to get into the business of my job's more important than your job.
No, she doesn't.
I hate people that do that.
That's not her perspective. It's just, imagine her getting me to come up and read her paper for her. It would be the same energy of me going, oh, goody. I'm going to avoid that at all costs. It's nothing to do with she feels like she's better.
No.
She's really awesome, and she does it because she loves me, flat out.
Which is all that really matters.
And I still don't know why she does. Ken, your spec section is good as is. I look at your content as a big picture option. I get the skinny in 10 minutes or less, and then do my own research from there. Yeah, and that's kind of how I like it set up, but we'll see. Well, I don't think I'm going to change it much, but I would like to make sure kind of everyone's getting what they need out of it. Chapters really help your video for search. Yeah, it's more of a laziness than anything. Yeah, it's just not her thing. Dan's right. Okay, so the one thing about the booth build coming up this week, I actually finished the video for MakerPipe and the booth build, and that also made me realize that I have a postage stamp for a studio and I can't shoot bigger projects like this, which is really annoying.
Sean, Oh, that's me. I'm like scrolling trying to find somebody with that in the thing.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, that's supposed to be me. Okay.
My main interests are microbiology,
yeah.
immunology, and hematology. Cool.
I am a nerd to the core. So there's tons of shit outside of audio that I find interesting and that I spend like the vast majority of my time looking into. And yeah,
I've got a lot of random little interests as well.
Same.
TechMed Rainer, cheers, brother. Thank you for dropping by, and I appreciate the super chat from earlier. So I do have the video done. I don't know how to fix it. I'm not a filmmaker or anything like that. But yeah, I really need to work on my bigger project approach and how I do that kind of stuff. I think I'm going to really start to explore that coming up in the near future, because I did find this was a massive challenge doing this booth. It's a 4x3 booth, and I'll be damned, man, trying to get the proper angle for everything, the lighting, all of that crap was the biggest pain in the ass I've ever had. It's right up there with making the sound panels. When I did that video way back, that was a nightmare as well, because I had to work by a workbench and the lights wouldn't work and all that. Anyways.
Anything, I'm gonna make a bold statement here. Anything new sucks.
Yeah, and that's the big part of it.
It gets better, but anything new I hate it.
If I had a cameraman, it would be completely different, because I could just set up lights for the project and be done with it. But because also building something in a video takes 10 times longer, because everything you do, move the camera, bring it over here.
Yeah. Well, that's why can you imagine on a film set when they have those BTS videos on film sets, if like a director would have to do, no, they have a dedicated like behind the scenes person. That's the whole job, is to shoot the behind the scenes shit. And then nobody has to worry about it. It's just like having a fly on the wall the whole time.
Yeah.
And I strive for that.
Bandrew, I use chapters because I don't care about view time. I want people to get exactly what info they want and move on.
Yep.
Best experience possible hopefully means more than likely
I agree.
to recommend. Yeah, and that's it. That's the interest. That's the counterpoint to it. And I think it's not making harsh or rash decisions off of minimal data. Sorry.
Well, that's
minimal
the last thing.
data.
You want people to have a adequate sense of what the hell is going on, and you don't want to put people in a sense where they might skip a vital piece of information.
Bang says right angles are not your friend. No kidding, man. I look fat on right angles.
I think he more meant for sound in a booth.
I'm sort of a cameraman. If I could afford to hire a cameraman, I would have already. But I'm nowhere near that point. I do so there's one video that I wanted to do that it's probably going to piss off more people than it's going to people won't appreciate it very much, because I want to actually go over the handheld microphones and see how much damage they can take before they stop working.
Nice.
The SM58 is notorious for being able to hammer nails. I want to see
hammer nails, put in a microwave, put in a freezer, driven over with a car,
dragged behind a car.
I love that video. I think that might be my favorite video on YouTube, like of all time.
Yeah, like slamming it up against concrete. Then I get to try it out, and
the guy dropped it from 50 feet in the air onto cement. It was awesome.
But I want to do that as well. But then it's like, well, then it's a matter of like making sure I got the right angles for everything and this and that, and it's just
you'd want to get a buddy to do camera.
But then not everyone can use a camera. That's the other thing. I've had people like, okay, all you got to do is track me with this camera, and it ends up pointing at my knees for 10 seconds. What are you doing?
You don't need a cameraman. Just drop $50 and get a DJI Ronin.
Oh, I've thought about that as well. Anyways,
that was an underestimated price point for anyone who doesn't know what the Ronin is.
Aiden, at least you don't say processing. Well, it depends. Process.
Tomato.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I am not a fan of and I've done it. People get fixated on semantics. And it's like, look, I know what I said. You know what I said. Fuck off. I said potato. You said potato. Nobody says potato, but
Mike says, I'd like to see that. Damn rights you would. That would be a fantastic video.
It would be the engagement you'd get on that.
When I get somebody that is capable, but I want to do all the mics, not just the SM57. I want to do an XM8500.
Do one of the Sennheisers. Do the one that I have there, the Sennheiser handheld.
Yeah, I want to do them all.
Numbers.
Okay, so I actually have to go and have dinner with my family. Let's. Midnight Wolf says, honestly, don't mind if you have a speck on screen, 1 to 2 seconds with a chance to pause. If you care to see or keep going, if you don't.
Cherry tomatoes.
Well, it's if you're putting up like a recipe list, it would just be up for like 3 or 4 seconds. Pause here if you care. I'll see. I'll go over it. Anyways. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Cheers. Thanks for, I think there was only one super chat. Thanks for the super chat, brother. I think he's gone already.
Tech racks.
Tech racks. I like it. Super Dave Osborne mic review. Most people wouldn't get that reference, actually. Super Dave Osborne was...
It rings a bell.
oh, you don't get it?
Though.
Okay, you need to look up Super Dave Osborne.
Again, it rings a pretty
Super
familiar bell, but I can't put a finger on it.
LOL at Dylan, fuck you too, good sir.
I come by it honestly.
Spaghetti, sloppy joes, or pizza. The wife is making pizza. I'm having dumplings, if you will, because I'm a dumpling kind of
fuck
fella.
off. You dick. I hate you.
No,
I want dumplings.
The wife got it for going away party at work, and
FedEx
she brought a
them to
bunch
me.
home. Nah, it's not going to happen. Yeah,
Maybe I'll just. I'm feeling masochistic. I think I'll get the habanero burger.
Yeah, I'll
from
send
A&W.
it with your hat.
and my zip fizz that I haven't gotten yet.
I'm cleaning up the studio this week. You're probably going to get it
You
next
already
week.
charged me for the zip fizz. I should be charging you interest on that now. Like I should be like compounding like bi-weekly or some shit. Like make back the money.
I'll send you a microphone or something. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.